Okay then. Well, let's see what we're going to unearth today. So, everything's set up, and let's start whacking. Okay. So for this one, I'm going to fine-tune the Necromancer I built the last time. Most of the critters now got most of their traits. There's 2 trait slots left open, and probably I can reshuffle something. That's the artifacts. And no, wait a sec. How many do I have open? 2 or 3 now? So this dude has only 2. There's 1 on the artifact slots and 1 on the fusion slots. So we're pretty decked out here already. But going to introduce the build as soon as a couple of people extra are hanging around here already. At least that's the plan. So hello Mimic. Let's go Death Morph. Cleanse away those critters, I mean buffs, and I think the rest should be just easy peasy. Kioran, hey there, so happy to see ya. It's really good that you are around here a little bit earlier today, because I guess I need your help. I need a way, trade-wise, to improve the intelligence of my critters. We can utilize a growth of defense on my traits. I basically need some kind of mechanic that increases the intelligence. You have shown me that trait that increases the stats of my critters per minion, but I was unable to find that. Maybe you can help me out to fetch that somewhere too. I guess it was an exotic one, so far at least. One of the new creatures. Well, I didn't find it, so... Because that would be such a perfect match, you know. I mean, right now, this whole thing is pretty neat. It explodes roughly around turn 3 or 4. That's pretty insane. It doesn't do a lot for quite some time, and then all of a sudden the minions and everything stack up in a way that it just slaughters all enemies, and it somehow doesn't die at all. I have unlocked all the realms, but it's possible that I haven't unlocked the creatures yet. Because I didn't play the new realms specifically too much. I was a lot on random roll lately. So that could be the case. I didn't want to prefer any of these realms because I need the points everywhere. It's not like I'd need to go somewhere else. This realm is so stupid. So my critters deal less damage, the enemies take less damage, and they have 250% extra health. In case you were wondering why nothing keeps dying. The numbers here are racking up quite nicely. We're on 107k damage by this point. Why do I need intelligence? As soon as my critters have all of the 4 apocalyptic riders, they gain a free cast of Apocalypse at the beginning of their turns. And, well, this would be growing more and more powerful the more intelligence we got. I mean, the other option would be a switch which transforms spellcasting in a way that it relates on defense, I guess. Because defense is actually my strongest stat in that team. I just want to pump up that passive spell damage as hard as I can, because that's just so appealing. You know, free casts, it's not even indirect damage. It's spellcast damage, because it's an automatic spellcast. I like that. Honestly, I prefer to use any other step than intelligence to cast my spells. Yeah, well, I'd need a trait that reconfigures spellcasts away from intelligence, because that's a perk of my Necromancer specialization. I can't skill that away or something like that, sadly. The Death Morph is so nice. Hi, Wolfio. Hey there. Happy to see you. Yeah, we got some minions. Alright. I think I gotta swap that realm. Everything here just takes too freaking long to die. Sometimes I just can't bear with it. Okay. So what I added in new here, Blood Mage or Siege Master perks. Oh yeah, I want to go for some progression tonight too. This I hope the Necromancer will be strong enough. So what I did here was add in the seal with the Master of the Inquisitors, because I noticed that I had only Inquisitors and a free random minion at the start of my turn. Me likes. Turkalon, I like how if you were to read the Lock of it, it takes 7 minutes to read a single turn. Yeah, indeed. So yeah, that trait, you know, it does occur so rarely that you can't use them. I felt like this was a good one. So here we already had that one. I mean, that's just too awesome. And here, my direwolves scale now off of attack as well. That was a nice workaround, because before that, the direwolves were only scaling off of speed. So I felt like that was a nice addition. We got here Hearty Appetite. You know, it's I use that a lot, but I really love the fact that we gain max health whenever we gain stats. There's nothing wrong about that, I guess. So here there's still some room for improvement, and here I got that one, Endrick's Empowerment. My creatures deal 5% more damage for each minion they have. This was a nice power pump. Seriously, once I had that going, stuff was escalating quite quickly. And on top of that, I went for the Soulstone Splinter here. After my creatures are attacked, they gain defense. I found that a really neat thing, and from that point on, I had a lot of defense at all times. I like that. Really works out pretty decently. Okay, let's try out another round round to check out how that worked out. I changed a lot of the spell gems here also, but I still lack something that I can do proactively during. I still got no clue what I could do that would actually make sense. I mean, oh well, so take that. Malignant Cloud. There's one thing that I really like about this build so far. It just doesn't die. We're so freaking resilient. It's amazing. So let's see. Enemies attack 11 additional times. Well, they will regret that. Every time they attack me, they gain a debuff. Every time they gain a debuff, I gain a buff. So here we go. It's just I need to put that on a macro that Death Morph has to be an automatic thing. And yeah, at this point the minions here deal such a tremendous amount of automatic damage. Whatever my critters do, they deal some damage while doing so. They attack the zombies and the wolves attack as well. They get attacked, some critters explode, and some other critters do revenge damage, and so on and so forth. It's a crazy build. this point in Siralim, I'm not even sure what my creatures do anymore. Yeah. So let's do one thing. I'm really unhappy with that macro. I didn't. So if ally 3 is death class, cast Steel Storm. That's nonsense. So let's remove that. If ally all is not death class, cast Morph Death. Yeah, let's just keep it with that. I don't want to go too deep into macro writing tonight. I want to see what this combo does on its own. Alright. So the enemies attacking me are, that's basically them. That's just a self-destruction method there. I destroyed myself when I was fighting King Andric like that. So you guys better shouldn't. Okay, let's check out. Macro. This one attacks. You shouldn't attack. Do I have wrong macros assigned? I'll have to check that out. Because the macro clearly states if all allies are in death class, you're supposed to cast Death Morph. So what's wrong with your... So... That's weird. That's really, really weird. This should work, but okay, we're going to take another workaround. I don't know, there must be something wrong about that statement, but we're going to do another thing. Or maybe remove the zombie line from that macro. Well, probably. Yeah, probably that's the problem. So, let's try that. Maybe you're right, Yarn. Maybe that does overwrite stuff. Where was it again? Is, if ally all is not class death, cast Morph Death. If that doesn't work, I'm just going to assign that to the turn 1 thing. I mean, well, no, this is not complete. So, and if all allies are death class, attack a random enemy. There we go. That should work out, I hope. Okay, so let's see what'll happen this time. Okay. I love it how nothing happens on my end, on my critters. I don't know, this is crazy. So, did not match any criteria. Okay, whatever. So, we're going to write it differently then. So obviously, I mean, to me, this makes perfect sense. If ally all is not death class, cast Morph Death. If all allies are death class, attack a random enemy. But obviously, this doesn't work like that. That's okay. We're going to go for... If this creature is on turn 1... Cast Death Morph. Was it all ally or any ally? All ally. Every day. It was definitely all ally. So if this creature is on turn 1, cast Morph Death. If this creature is death class, attack a random enemy. Let's see what happens now. I mean, theoretically, they should now spam the Morph Death all out in their first turn, which would be bad, but at least then it would finally compute in a way that I wanted to. Maybe you thought you were trying to cast it as an AoE spell. No, Morph isn't single target. Morph is definitely a team-wide spell, per se. So, macro, Morph Death. Okay, that worked out. So this time, that dude, but I guess now everybody does that, right? Yeah, now everybody does that. But honestly, I don't really care. It works out. In the end, every cast of Morph Death brings out more defense. So, whatever. Seriously. I'm okay with that. Spamming out stat increasers should not be any problem for me. Although, I prefer if only one of them dudes would cast that morph thing. It's a little bit odd to spam that one out like it's necessary. There are better methods to buff my stats, you know. So let's see, the Inquisitor Countess. Let's see who's usually my first acting creature. Let's see. Is that always that dude? But wait, I just need to check out who has the highest speed. Right, a new macro for that one? Yeah, let's do that. So who's the speediest of the bunch? It's definitely this one. Okay. So you're going to keep that macro 8. And the other creatures, well, let's see. The other creatures. You can select something out of that spellbook. Benediction. Oh, that's not really any help. Ugh. Okay, well, what would the other dudes do? Just attack? Well, heck, let's try that. Let's try what happens if I don't spam these spells and just attack. Just for a moment. I want to make this, the actions of that build a little bit less bulky, you know? Let's see if that works out. Because so far, as far as I see it, there's a crazy amount of automation on this one. Necromancer really plays extremely different to everything I've played before. I mean, the sheer amount of automatics going on here is insane. I mean, every one of my creatures actually can... I think whenever I would cast a spell, there's a chance that I also passively cast a spell because of the animated gems and all manner of crazy is happening here. Okay, so definitely crosses my mind is feel as if I'm killing stuff slower now, but okay, let's not get crazy with one fight. Ash, hi there! So happy to see ya. I almost went for CDDA tonight, but I felt a little bit too tired tonight. I don't know. I got trouble thinking today. But I think the only build that would really break yours is something like a focused team of Spellbreakers and status effect reversers. I think what also should work extremely well is something that purges minions. And I think, if I remember correctly, there are a couple of things like stuff that's blocking indirect damage. That's also very nasty for my dudes. And minion purge. Mostly minion purge. But beyond that, this is working out insanely well. I wasn't expecting to get such a massively overpowered build out there. Because I know that I'm not really, I'm not really optimized well here yet. You know, it's just the beginning of something bigger. So we're going to head back home now and check out what kind of spell is extremely spammable. I think I'll just check out if I can find a intelligence booster. I mean, I was asking for that one. Snap Trap Master. Snap traps are always annoying. Meteor Shower. There's one intelligence drain spell. Well, let's see. I love what this does so far, though. Yeah, that sounds like an interesting choice there, Turkalon. That definitely sounds like something we should check out. Because so far, I'm really happy with what's happening here. I mean, that really kicks ass. I'm quite surprised about that. I didn't really add much since the last time, but I gotta say that the biggest power-up seemed to be the Andrek item that increased the damage by 5% per minion. And as you can see here, these numbers here on all these golden icons, every golden icon is a minion, and every number depicts one stack. I think every stack should increase the power by 5%, so that's pretty sick, as you can see. I think Meteor Shower does moderate damage to all the enemies ×3. Well, I don't really need a spell. I got that spell on my own. We're casting Apocalypse, and that Apocalypse is even healing my creatures. It's modified by the Necromancer perk that the damage the spell does heals my creatures. I definitely want to play around that, because it's extremely easy for me to get the 4 Apocalyptic Riders on my critters going. So I really think about some stat booster spells all the way down, because I also got a perk that we're summoning some other stuff when I'm casting spells, I think. I don't know. Necromancer is quite complicated on that department, I feel like. So creatures have 16-ish minions for an 80% damage bonus. Oh no, well, I suspect an exotic one, Hyorin, honestly. That's such a kick-ass trait. Okay, so I wanted to check out what kind of spells I could take for that project here. So let's see. Maybe I got already something, you know? Sometimes I got stuff in my drawers. I hope the volume of the music tonight is better than the last time. Please tell me if there's an issue here. So, let's see. Firewall. My creatures gain defense and, well, that doesn't look too promising here so far. My creatures gain, yeah, well, that's Death Morph. I mean, that's also a defense stat boost. So all the resurrection spells. Soul Harvest, steal a small amount of intelligence. Nah. It's not really interesting. Summons, no. Eye Mirror. Much better than before, perhaps still tad loud. Okay. Let's see what I can do here. So, okay. If we want to have... That should do the trick now. Soul Harvest was the one you're thinking of. Well, it does only steal a small amount, and, well, let's see, maybe we'll find something else there. So, well, I'd say purple gems sound like something, intelligence boosting, or the white ones. Yeah, because it hits all enemies. Let's see. I'm still a little bit careful with that because stat stealing worked so badly the last time for me. Let's see what we can find here. There's for sure something that will fit my taste. Let's see. Enemies lose a large amount of intelligence. Well, we could just go Morphin. But no. Well, I think I'm in the wrong school after all, huh? Yeah, there's summons. Okay, so let's check out white magic next. Buffing and stuff should be their, could be their department too. My creatures gain moderate amounts of attack speed and max health. That could be also pretty appealing though, because that would upgrade my zombies. Let's craft one. Probably just do both, huh? I mean, that would be also a pretty fun concept of a team that were just going to stat boost like crazy. I mean, then I could also take the Soul Harvest, and that would fit into the picture after all. Okay, so far everything except for the intelligence that I want to boost. Come on. Am I really that wrong today? Seems like that. So, abundance. My creatures recover a small amount and gain a small amount. Well, let's craft that one too. So, green spell. Maybe here. I mean, after that, there's only 2 more colors to go, so. I really wish there'd be a search function where I could just search for everything, including the keyword intelligence. That would be so massively helpful. This is one thing that this game's really, really lacking, sadly, but, well. I assume it's not that easy to code in or something like that. Rust enchantment. Well, it's a single target. I don't want to have single targets. It's annoying to program the macros, and I want to look for something that does the trick for everybody. I've actually seen that, but I'm lazy, what can I say? Attack gain. There is a search in the codex, I think. Alright, we're going to check that out, but now I'll stay here for the moment. So, let's start with Chaos. I recall using it for traits. Okay. Thanks for the cue. I'll have to check that out. Still tedious. well. I think that's an inherent problematic of deep games. They have always some sort of tedium. Can't really patch that out, I guess. So I don't really expect some intelligence boost here, but your creatures gain a massive amount of attack. Let's take that one into the considerations too. Chaos is mostly attack. Yeah, I totally assume that. I just didn't want to skip it out, just to have to check it out in the end as well. I'd be surprised to see what I'm looking for at death too. AFK, hi there! So happy to see you. But I mean, it would be typical to find what you're looking for at in the last possible spot, you know. So direct orders, I should possibly fetch in that spell here and there. That's already something I'm using. No, I think I already went through the death spells. I would have noticed if there's one there. So, yeah, Soul Harvest it is. Okay, let's do this. Alright, we're going to use a couple here. Charm of Life is one of them, because I like that one. Direct Orders, I like that one too. Because, you know, I got so freaking many minions. It would be silly not to utilize that. It's a single target spell, but whatever. So, there was another one. Soul Harvest, definitely. I took that twice, so we got plenty of charges. And let's see. I forgot a last one. Savage Raw was just there was one Abundance. Here. Abundance. I wanted that one too. Okay. So my nature creatures say hi to Abundance, and my other nature creatures also got plenty of slots open for that stuff. That's good. My death slots are all filled up. My sorcery slots too. I got plenty of nature slots, so we're going to socket that. So generosity and stat increase bonus. But let's just upgrade that completely. Come on. Let's not be shy. And chance to be cast twice. As far as I remember, that only applies to the original. But, you know, better than nothing. So yeah, let's go for these as well. Full and complete upgrades, please. That should... That could actually already be what we're needing here to go into insane proportions. Or at least I hope to. Definitely I'm going to go for progression now. After I've set up these gems. Okay, so we've got Abundance set up. Now, Charm of Life. First of all, Generosity. Second, we need a nature swap, and well, let's take the stat increase boost. So there we go. Charm of Life. Next one on the list. direct orders. So oddly enough, I need to go for a nature swap. Potency based on defense. Well, I could go for that one. Let's do this. And a generosity enchantment, of course. Let's install that on several critters. Now, that's done. There was something I'm missing out now. Soul Harvest. So now, generosity, and we're going to need the nature swap here. Okay, so Soul Harvest. Let's see, was there another one? Was that the last one? I think that was the last one. Did I miss something? I guess you guys will tell me if I do so. If I did miss something. Charm of Life. No, that's already socketed in. Okay. Cool stuff. Now let's go for the macro number 9. So we're going to go for something very, very basic. If this creature can provoke, cast... Oh god, now we need to have... Oh god, what are the names? Christ. So, Soul Harvest, I can't remember that one. I hate this. But well. It's also a good, memory test, you know. If this creature can provoke, cast Soul Harvest. So, let's see, what was the next spell? Charm of Life. So they're going to cycle these spells through then. If this creature can provoke... it's a little bit of a stupid trigger, but I hope it works. The last time I worked with something like that, it worked quite nicely. Okay, if not, I just set up macros for a ton of creatures. The Abundance and Direct Orders. That's the 2 spells that we need to fetch in here too. So, Abundance. And after that, Direct Orders. Where are you? On a random enemy, and after all that, if any enemy well, I'm so confused that you just can't set up a straight just smack that guy. Has more than 10% health. Attack that, or attack a random enemy. So, let's see. That macro 9 should work out properly. Let's just hope it does. So, macro 9. That would be really cool if it would work out like I wanted to now. Okay, almost there. Okay, let's see if this crazy works out. Let's see. Let's get to some progression. So, animated weapon, less intelligence, more. Oh, well, whatever. If this build is really good, it can deal with every situation. Okay, that's a little bit sassy to say. Okay. What do we have here? Strong against life and chaos. Ha! That's not death. Extra health, less damage taken. Okay. Tanky as heck. But beyond that, shouldn't be any issue. Okay. Macro 1. Works out. Soul Harvest. And the most charming thing about all this is, as long as I have this animated gem minion on my critters, they will cast a random spell out of their spell book whenever I do cast a spell. Really neat. Therefore, I just need to chain up the spell casts, and everything should be nice. So let's see, that was turn 1. We've spent our soul harvest spells. Okay, the apocalypse spell just killed an entire enemy there. Yeah, it's doing a lot more damage. Now the Charm of Life spell casts come through. Yeah, it works out nicely. We're buffing ourselves up in a decent way here. And it doesn't bulk up the turns too crazily. So here, this one did cast Soul Harvest. I guess that happens when the people got the spell for themselves. So, I mean, I'm not too surprised that my enemies aren't dying right now, because we're in super resilient realm. Extra defense, less damage taken, extra health. You name it. I hate realms like these. But, well. It does rack up to some really, really decent damage amounts here in quite a nice time. Alright. Oh, look, our enemies are buffing themselves. Okay, taking a lot of damage here this all of a sudden. No, my immortality! Okay. So this time we're not on Death Morph, because the dude casting that was not acting on the first turn. Let's see. Here we go. Well, what I do notice though is that if I don't attack myself on my own, the zombies and direwolves come much less into effect. So probably I should just check out which creatures in my squad are really good at attacking and configure them back to attack. It might be cool that they can all do the same same trick, but in the end, ideally, every one of these 6 buggers would have his own set of specific macros. You know, that would be ideal. God, this place is killing me with its resistances. So let's see what happens if I attack. Does that work better? Or maybe I should dispel their defenses. Let's do that. I mean, I've got a handful of spells here. So let's try out direct orders. Just dealing almost no damage, but I mean, it is a ridiculous amount of resistances on my enemies. I guess most of my builds would be struggling here. That's the fun of instabilities. But at the same time, progressing without instabilities, that's just boring, you know? Yeah, I'd say after this fight, let's check out which one of my dudes is good at attacking, and let's just use that. Too many spellcasters just bloat up the actions, and we're not utilizing the power we're allocating right now. Although it is quite nicely to feel, it is quite nice to feel that immortal. You know? Right now there's, let's see when the next time something will be able to tackle this build here. Okay, so we got that. Now, creature-wise, we got this dude here. He's a good attacker. So we're definitely gonna get him on that. Then there's really this dude here. Let's put him onto attack as well. I will optimize the extra resource from battle. The personality traits of my critters as well. Later down the road. Martian costume, okay. Let's see what that does. I'm strongly tempted to reset this realm because it stinks here. These guys, they even got a leeching buff. Okay, so Death Morph succeeded. Apocalypse spellcasts, they didn't do anything. Alright, so let's see, we got 2 Soul Harvest spells, 3 of them. Now we got people whacking, okay. Would be nice if my enemy would be at least a little bit impressed. But I guess I'm asking for it too much. So how many critters do I actually have? Massive amounts. Yeah, it's just this realm. You know what? We're just going to reset that thing. It's unbearable. It's like, seriously, I mean, I can get through that, but not really fun. So, less dodge chance, less healing. Heal every turn for 81% health. Well, it's item bonus 360%. Oh, I didn't need to click that. Dang. Gems sealed after casting. Resurrect after death. I hate that. Less attack damage. Well. Less charges. No additional attacks and costs. No, not more defenses again. Not like this. Strong against death, I shouldn't roll with that one either. More damage resistances. Well, extra traits. That can be very, very nasty too. Okay, let's stick with that one. This is looking pretty good too. Okay. So what do we have here? End of turn provoke. Buff invisible. Okay. That doesn't really matter too much here. Although it does mess up my my attacking creatures here a bit. But oh my god, now that's more like it. This is how it looks like when we're not facing super tanks. Okay, it's better. Just needed something that showed me that I actually built something that works out. But it could still deal more damage. Definitely is the weak part of that one. I mean, I still got trade slots open. And I think there's at least one trade, if not two, where I'd be able to switch them out now. What I'd really like to have is something that gets this gives these guys a nice amount of intelligence that makes the Apocalypse spellcast smack like crazy. I mean, I can use intelligence on my artifacts. That should work out too. But, well, I feel as if I'm missing something, some puzzle piece that would work out really good. Alright, this squad is a lot more resilient though, but here. Apocalypse cast. from a decently upgraded unit. There's a pretty neat impact on that. That's why I want to have higher stats. But overall, I do like the Necromancer a lot, and I'm somewhat inclined to try the Ascension with that class first. Just because it's the first class that I ever played. And returning back to this here and setting it up to a point where it really smacks. It's very, very satisfying. Red magnetic stones decrease enemies' attack. Cool. That would be fun to watch. We can do that, Joran. We're definitely able to do that. I don't know, the whole minion part is really interesting to play. It's very unique. Very different to all the stuff I've played before. That's why I enjoy it so much. I think the this extra trait that increases defense whenever we get attacked is just awesome. Seriously, one of my favorite traits. I mean, defense alone doesn't win a fight, but it's really cool because that means in a very, very quick way, you can just watch your enemies strengthening your own defenses. Pretty cool. But I'd say that extra damage based off of extra minions is already pretty nice. So... yeah, okay. I'm talking to somebody who's playing Siege Master, of course, defense alone. But it's not the defense alone, it's the specialization behind that. It's technically not correct. You're actually you're even giving proof to what I say. But let's just, I'm done now, smart-assing around. Hey, welcome back, Ash. How can't these dudes just die? Well, okay. So I think I need to upgrade that macro here as well a bit. Summon Horde. Extra minion summons are what's missing here. Let's put that onto the macro of that dude who does the oh yeah, I like that. If I didn't cast spells, creatures would kill themselves on me by attacking. Yeah, that sounds like a really nice way to win. Okay, so this dude here, we'll have to edit the macro number 8. So if this creature is on turn 1, cast Morph Death. I want to have this dude act out a little bit differently. So if this creature can provoke... your internet keeps dying at the same time every night. Now that sucks. So let's cast Summon Horde. Oh, come on. Here you are. And if this creature can provoke, cast Indiscriminate Summoning, I think it was called. Yeah. And after that, I think, or no, if any enemy has more than 10% health, attack a random enemy. No, if this creature. any enemy has more than 10% health. Attack a random enemy. Okay, so now we got some summons in that macro thing there too. Giants, let's go. Masters again. I like that. All right. It is pretty cool that I randomly fire all manner of other spells. It's really cool. Our dudes are confused. Okay. That invisibility thing, though, is pretty annoying. It's not dangerous or anything, but it's rather annoying that I always have to aim manually to something that I can't attack. Alright, that was turn 1. Let's see how my... Wait a sec. Ah, here. Countess. So I configured that. Let's do that macro. Summon Horde. Wonderful. Okay, that works out just like I wanted it to. So excited for the full release of the game in a couple of days. Okay. Yay, more hordes. So I guess killing quickly is probably not the strong side of this build here. Oh, well, maybe these enemies are all quite resilient. I mean, do you see that list of buffs there? Let's do something against that. Got a greater dispel on me. Ready to use it. That's better. Okay, let's see if I can deal damage to them now. I mean, giants are really good at racking up insane amounts of HP and all manner of other defensive stats. I mean, if we check them out here, a couple of million HP each. Around between 1 and 2 million. Couple of million is an over-exaggeration. But there's still some need for a direct nuke that actually nukes. You know, all the spells that I packed up for that purpose, they just don't nuke. It's a little bit sad to put it like that, but that's just what happens here. Arrgh, stupid giants finally die. It's crazy. But I know that giants tend to have insane amounts of HP. Summon Horde is a really useful spell, but it also gets resolved so damn slowly, you know? That's something where this game could still work faster in resolving all these things that are happening in one turn. Jesus. Can't you die already? So, less attack damage seems to be quite a problem for me, or I don't know. What's actually keeping these dudes alive so heavily? There we go. We finally breached them. Okay, it was, oh, my giants start battles with 30% more health for each giant, so... that might be the reason. So every giant there had 180% more HP. Now that explains everything. It was a master fight. Oh, I totally forgot that. Actually was on a master. Duh. Okay, you started a new game in Sands of Saucer. Well, I haven't played it myself yet, It's still on my wish list, and I rather randomly today noticed that it's gonna be released in mid-December, because I was checking out whether or not I want to buy something as long as the Steam sale still lasts. Not as if I had any serious time to play too many games. It's kind of weird nowadays that my selection of games that I'm playing has grown smaller and smaller, basically. Or, well, no, that's not right. The games I'm playing in my free time are growing more and more minimalistic and less. I mean, I don't mind. It's just fun to notice that. Okay, jeez. I wonder which of these traits on these guys is cutting down my damage output so heavily. Maybe the combination of less damage taken and less attack damage? I'm still wondering which traits are so unbearable for this build, but I mean, at some point they all melt down. I'd just love to have somebody like some creature that can deal some passive damage based on the amount of minions or something like that. Oh, finally redstones. I was wondering where they'd be. Oh, speaking about bees, there's a beehive. Okay. Well. So it really seems to depend on the enemy I'm facing. And one thing that I really do already have decided is that I won't be running the Necromancer in anything else than tier 5 instabilities, because this build is not really faster when you pack it, when you use it against instability 0 enemies. It seriously doesn't go that much faster. A little bit faster because the enemies aren't nearly as resilient, of course, but it's a joke compared to the loot that I can acquire here on this difficulty level. Although I gotta say, I don't know if that realm here is, again, a little bit of a bad pick there. Possibly. I mean, it seems like I need forever to scale up my defenses. Roxy, hey there! I scale up my offenses, I mean, not defenses, offenses. So... game, give me some magnetic stones and let me out of here. Ah, here we go. No, not another Nemesis thing. Alright. Why are we taking so much damage here? Fire flower. I want to see more uses for granite. Oh yeah, that's true. I'm so feeling it. I mean, I do run projects non-stop. I'm using all of my project slots all the time. But I agree with you. There's a rather finite amount of things you can do with that stuff. And the projects right now are not using that properly. But there's one good thing about it. Exactly, Roxy. That's just what I wanted to say. Granite is very useful for grinding it into brimstone. That's at least one resource you can freely transform into something else, just like you please. That's what I used it a lot for. Might be not really ideal, I agree here. I find it a lot better if when you're using your when you're using what you got, you know, instead of just allocating. Okay, holy moly, that's a lot. Okay, nice. Always happy when I find trade materials. Yeah, so I mean, it might be that the enemies are annoyingly hard to kill, but at the same time, the drop rate of this realm here is amazing. But nevertheless, let's head home. After I've plundered this a little bit more, of course. Woohoo! Okay, maybe I'll stay a moment longer. Well, I wonder how you can manage Hyorin. I guess you transform it too much. Okay. Okay. Now, I need to fetch something to drink, friends. I'm going to be right back in a minute or so. Okay. Now, let's check out what we can do here. So, what did I want to change here? What can I change here that is, well, do I have anything here in my pen that I could use? Apocalypsis, Azura, Lister. No. Large Jungler. My creatures attack deal 50% and scaling off of defense, yeah. That would make at least sense. I vaguely remember that I've seen something that transformed defense into attack. But I'm going to go for the Dryad Keeper here. So let's do this. Sorting by name. I'm willing to recreate my creatures if necessary. But that Dryad will solve a lot of my problems. I've selected her in the with the thought, I'll take that if I don't find anything else. After my creatures gain a buff, they gain attack and intelligence. This is interesting because my creatures gain a buff whenever they gain a minion. And you've all seen how many minions we gain, so that's probably going to be a really good thing. And Saint Althea is on that floor. Hooray! So probably roll up a set that I can deal with. And cast 7 additional times. But beyond that, I don't care. Let's go for this. Let's see how that'll work out. So, what do we have here? Extra attack on our enemies, less stat loss, more damage dealt. Okay. So, this realm will put my defenses on a pretty hard test. I like that. Okay. Yay! I think that's just what we needed. That could even tip the scales over in a way that my attacks, my kill speed now has grown in a really massive way. Yeah. That's working out nicely. Yes. Good stuff. So, False God deals more damage. False God has more intelligence. Let's take the intelligence. The rewards were the same. Okay. So, in this realm, we could be blasted in the first turn out of the water. There's just so much damage on them early on. I mean, whenever my creatures get attacked, they gain defense, so that means, I guess, the longer fights go, the lesser the chance of my dudes actually still dying. Which is kind of a fun combo. Oh yeah, I like that. This works out really well. Like, now we're onto something. I kind of like can't, feels like a new build there, fighting power-wise. False God loses less stats. Hell yeah, I don't care. Okay. Self-help book. Okay. So, well, now the question remains what kind of extra add-ons I could use to make it even better. Steel! Hi there! Cheers! That's ginger ale, just in case you're wondering. Okay. Oh yeah. This is an entirely different speed level. Old woman costume. False God is immune to indirect damage. I won't take that. I still wonder whether or not my minions count as indirect damage or not. I highly assume they do. I mean, does anybody know that? A question that's bugging me a while, whether or not they are indirect damage or not. Okay. Really curious to see whether or not I'm going to beat that dude. And that's also going to be a new perk for us, so... You're not really sure, Hjörin? Yeah, it's a little bit of a difficult question. I mean, so far, indirect damage was always linked to traits. Ginger ale is pretty yummy. I used to hate it when I was a kid. They are indirect damage. I assumed. I mean, I wouldn't know where I would stick them otherwise. So, False God is immune to attack damage. No, I won't take that. Sealing off that venue of damage is probably... I mean, now we know that my dudes deal indirect damage, but no. I don't need to grind out the most massive reward. Would be a shame to blow it up because I grew too greedy. Oh man, that juicy loot. I mean, it's mostly knowledge, but I don't mind. All these trade materials here are so valuable to grind up, because overall, the more the better. I realized lately, whenever I build up new builds, I was so happy when I was able to rely on a big foundation of trade materials. I have so many spiders following me, yeah. It's my Inquisitor posse. So, do I need to kill some of these quest minions? Really enjoy how your build still allows for battle tactics. Not a huge fan of T1, yeah, me neither. It's like, it's really cool when you got a strategy that blows your enemies out of the water in turn 0/turn 1, but that should always be only your first layer of everything. That should be where you start. If you're relying solely on that, okay, I mean, Alpha Strike rules and stuff, but I personally like if I have more methods to act on what's happening. I still have to revisit a lot of my older builds where I did exactly that mistake. They make great farming builds, exactly that's where what I want to say there as well. That's why I say you should have that as a basic layer, but for progression you need more. So, False God has more defense or takes less damage. We're going to take the less damage part. Carvers. But you're absolutely right, Hjorin, for farming purposes, that's great. Especially cards. I personally love to farm my cards with a Alpha Strike build, turn 0 stuff, in level 0 instabilities. Just click on that candle and grind. I like that. Sometimes very, very unwinding. That's what I like my astrologer for a lot. But I have to rebuild so many of these. Can't wait. So I really hope that this game will see some proper hype when it comes to the release. I mean, hype, as hypey as indie games can go. But I really enjoy playing this game a ton, and I'd really enjoy if we'd had more audience here, more people enjoying this with us. Desert Rod, okay. Let's see. This should be soon the last of the squats here that we're needing to summon the boss here. Currently running Siege Master. It might be just the realm level at. Well, Hjorin played a lot of Siege Master too, and I gotta admit, the only reason why I didn't touch Siege Master yet was because I heard you guys talking about it a lot, and I wanted to explore something new. So I kind of like put that onto the end of my list. But it sure looks pretty appealing. And the other reason is I already got a Paladin, and the Paladin has a pretty similar venue. It's also damage reflection, but the Siege Master does the job differently. The Paladin is much more revolving around his minions actually dying and getting reborn, if I remember correctly. This build now is working out so brilliant. That Dryad really did the trick. Awesome. So now we just need to find something even better. Autocast build, Mimic go first. Yeah, that's good stuff. That's really good if you just want to grind out stuff quickly. To enjoy looking at less played classes. I have no clue which classes are played a lot in this game. I sadly don't find the necessary time to indulge myself too much into the Discord. So I'm really out of touch in that regard. The Siege Master had a starting creature, would definitely be a creature for the Doom Fortress. Yeah, that's true. Doom Fortresses are cool as well. I love playing with these. They got so nice traits. I'm still collecting emblems for all those god critters. Okay, Saint Althea. Let's check her out. You can look at what class is the least ascended character in global achievements. Yeah, okay, that's definitely. But is that really representative in terms of popularity? Probably, but it's already a pretty good thing to go for. So let's check her out. Enemies always have blighted. Okay. Cast spells. Shell. Cast spells. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it's at least a good indicator, indeed. It's what I figured too. My knowledge of this game is tuning into Icon. Doing what I can. Just hearsay, but Druid, Dreamweaver, and Rune Knight are all underrepresented from what I've heard. Okay, yeah, well, Dreamweaver, I can relate. It sounds pretty complicated. And, well, Rune Knight, yeah, it's the same. It's an entirely new system where you have to check it out. And Druid, yeah, well, Druid is pretty strange. I mean, you're opting out on so many traits with that one. I'll have to check out how to play around that. It's interesting, but very at odds with itself. Okay, it's an interesting way to put it. All right, Mass Dispel, kicking in hard. So I'm wondering whether or not that Blight will ultimately turn into an issue here or not. I mean, we are suffering from Permablight, but somehow I'm not suffering any damage as far as I can perceive. I mean, I don't want to summon any problem here, but it looks as if we're not gaining any health, but we're not, or we're not getting any healing, but we're not getting any damage in either, so... But that boss is getting a lot of wide numbers here. And they're growing larger and larger. But that boss also has a ton of healing. My maximum health is rising by a lot. That means my stats are rising a lot too. And for example, the stat each rune works with is paired with a debuff that scales with a totally different stat. The Chaos rune runs off attack, but burning is int-based, so yeah. Okay, well, that does sound indeed very, very weird. I do get what you're pointing at. Probably that class needs some rebalancing then. I mean, in a game that offers so many different venues that you can take, there have to be parts that are just weaker than others. Happens to every game. But that sounds pretty sucky what you're saying there, Roxy. On the other hand, what doesn't sound sucky is the amount of damage I'm getting onto that boss. I'm just a little bit concerned about the amounts of healing that I see popping up there in between. But at some point we should be able to punch through that. I mean, I do gain extra stats whenever I gain a minion, and I gain minions for free. Even if my spell charges run out, the traits will provide new minions afterwards. So we're far from being done here. But that boss is really freaking resilient. But I've seen now several procs for 370k, So the damage is racking up. Zombies are dealing more and more AoEs. So Saint Althea is really a nasty boss in that regard, that she's really resilient. And that perma-blight, well, if you don't have a really high defense there, like I do here, it can really ruin your day. I wonder how long it'll take until we're actually killing something here. I mean, we're only at turn 4, though. But 320% extra attrition already, so, or exhaustion. So, I didn't, oh, okay. Was wondering where the music went. Just thought I didn't stream 3 hours already. Die already. Jeez. This is a freaking resilient boss. But at some point, I guess we will punch through that. Well, it's hard to tell, Ash. The last person, yeah, okay, it's coming back. Yeah, that there was a pretty much a gap between the tracks. So those zombies smacked in for a couple of million HP now that last turn. But, yeah. Problem is when my creatures die, their stats reset. And my creatures start dying now. Oh no. I might be needing to bring my Windrunner. My Windrunner's build is inherently immune against Blight. We might be caving in against that. My stat increases are lost at death. And... oh yeah, the body finally died. Oh, God bless. Alright, so the Perma Blight now is gone. We can now cleanse... oh no, the body's back. But only for so long. So, well, we might be actually winning it. So definitely want to cast an active Dispel. Siralim is one of these games that I see myself buying just to vibe at the tracks. Well, the tracks aren't from Siralim. That's the sound list, the playlist that I'm playing in the background. How many False God will be in the game? I haven't counted. A lot. Yeah, the soundtracks you're hearing here right now, that's my playlist. I'm wait a sec. Here. If you want to have that. I love that artist. He's doing a really good job. That's why I'm promoting that dude a little bit. So yeah, Saint Althea was pretty much a long fight, but we did it. No problem, Ash. After my avatar's attack, they know. My creatures are immune to blighted. Yeah, hitting one. And my creature's ultimate spell gems. That must be a very class-specific one. Healing effects are more powerful. Deal damage with retribution. My creatures deal more damage for each buff. God Spawn, that's fanatic traits, I guess. Wild Barrier, less damage. After Provoke, random enemy attack. I think I'm going to take the Consecrated Crown. I mean, this won't be the last fight that I have against Saint Althea. Alone for that, it's worth taking it, I think. Because that fight would have been a lot easier without the Blight. Let's take that. Woo! Check this out. My God. I just received a new spell? Okay, I'm quite surprised about that one. I didn't expect to find a spell here. Hey, life guild level 14. Alright, nice. Ouroboros key. We did it. Okay, the Necromancer is really, really, really cool so far. So I'll give you a look-see about the False Gods Fire Flower that we got right now. And I haven't heard that there's an upper limit of how many one there's supposed to be included in the future. As far as I've seen things, I'd be not surprised if this game gets expanded a lot in the future. So let's see, what can we buy here? New decorations, Griffin, Veteran, Divine, Phoenix. How cool is that one? You can do such crazy shenanigans with that. It dies every turn. And this creature would stay. Alright. Now, let's see. What kind of stat bonuses do the other guilds give? Stat boost effect bonus. Oh yeah, let's take that. So these are the false gods we got right now. So Saint Althea was cleric, fanatic, paladin. Yeah. Nibodar. Well, Siege Master, Lloyd Prime, yuck. Well, let's see. So hard to decide every time. Honestly, there are so many appealing things to pick, but I'm going to go for, well, what I'm going for. Let's go for a Lost Construct. I want to have some Siege Master traits. So, damage every turn, heal every turn. Yeah. That sounds tasty. Alright, but it seems as if I've made a really nice piece of progress here. Oh, why we're exploding. Hard to tell. Enemy spells kick ass. More damage dealt, 109%. Probably that one. Owie. Jesus. How dare you? Yeah, they really... that's just basic spell casting there. Kicking ass like crazy. Ah, stats are swapped. I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. My defensive stats are crap. That's why. But the good news here is, in the long run, we're going to end up with extremely powerful stats due to the fact that my dudes just receive defense whenever they get attacked. I love that. Okay. This realm ain't that easy, huh? But, well. Alright, Necromancer is kicking butt. Like that. So, hope Hyorin's still around. I meant to ask, if you successfully ascend a class, do you get that ascension perk as something that you can't pick with every class? Like when you're doing the guild quests, or is that only available when you're playing that class in particular? I hope that makes sense. Those are class exclusive. Aw. It's a shame. Relatable, but I wonder if the royal class will have access to these. Yeah, so this realm is definitely killing my creatures more often, but... Well... Whatever. We got 265% of drop rate to get me over it. Oh, it's officially the 1st of December over here from here on. Nice. Christmas is coming. And to all those who didn't know yet, unless Germany is suffering from a full lockdown, which could still happen, I'm going to stream a lot during Christmas. If the lockdown will happen, I'm not going to stream that much during Christmas because my family will be at home. I really hope we won't be getting a big bad lockdown, but right now it's looking a lot like it. Okay. Stuff's not dying as quickly as I wanted to, but well, it's every time these realms got that 200% plus extra defense trait, stuff turns a little bit into a slog. But I don't care. It's okay. It's very, very cool to have a formation that can tackle tier 5 instabilities like that. Because basically, I don't really care about what the enemies do. I just measure how annoying it is to kill them, / how long it takes to bear them, to whittle them down. It's quite impressive. Considering that I haven't done too much to get this compo worthwhile. It's just the minions do so much for you. It's so easy to just spam out a insane glob of them at once. Like that. Okay. But I guess it's about time for me to say goodnight again. A little bit tired already. And past 1 AM here. Sadly. Really enjoying this one. I really also thought that I'd be getting deeper depth-wise tonight. We didn't even make 5 depth levels there. But I think it really was worth the time. And I really think that this formation did grow a lot by that. But I also think that there's still a lot of room for improvement here. I might assume that I'm still lacking 1 or 2 tricks to get that Alpha Strike rolling somehow. But maybe I'll find some trait materials. And yeah, Bjorn, if you'll find that, that trait material and where to grab it from you were posting the other day, I'd be delighted. Okay, that one trait. The one with the extra stats for minions. Sadly. But you know what I'm talking about. Well, let's see. Should probably pay more attention to trait materials now as well. Now that I have a definitive need. I know, Jorn, but you know, at least something to work towards to, you know. Okay, you guys, it's been my pleasure, and have a good night, and see you all tomorrow or such. Bye-bye!